Well, thank you for checking out Philman Rollap and Associates Public Finance Conversations. Philman Rollap and Associates is a municipal advisor to government. My name is Adam Bauer, and I serve as CEO and president of Philman Rollap and Associates. Today, I have the privilege of talking with Keith Wolaridge. He is a gentleman I've known for a number of years, and during that period of time has served several different roles in one being a board member, two, helping school districts with a variety of different things, and most recently, an author of a new book that really addresses some of the things that we're all dealing with today. So, Keith, if you wouldn't mind, fill in the gaps that I've left out there.
I think you got it in there, Adam. Thank you again so much to you and the firm for this opportunity to share. Again, I really do appreciate the work and our friendship over the years that we've grown to know each other, not only as professionals, but as people, as two men that's doing our best to make our families do well and our communities a better place and financing school districts. So again, thank you so much again for this opportunity. Again, my name is Keith Wolaridge. Wow, where do I start? Family man, school board trustee. Adam, can you believe I'm in my 11th, going on 12th year now? Can you believe it? For a guy who just threw his hand in the ring to say, we'll see what happens, to now I'm the old man on the board now. I can't believe it. I'm the fossil now. I'm the old guy now.
Well, in some ways, it seems like you just started yesterday, but in other ways, it seems like you've always been there. So
it does seem that way. Yeah, it does. It seems that way. I teach business at Bakersfield College. I'm an adjunct professor, and I just love it. Being around those young people it just gives me so much thrill. I happen to also own a consulting firm where I like to call them strugglingpreneurs, singlepreneurs, help them with their small business stuff. And in my spare time, outside of sitting on other boards and things of that nature, I have the honor and the privilege of serving with the Panama Buena Vista Union School District since 2009. So we have a full life, married man, lovely wife, 4 beautiful and smart daughters. Man, I'm just doing the best I can. This little boy from Merced, California.
So that sounds like a lot, but you've also recently written a book. How does that fit into this mix?
Oh, the book, I don't know, my man. It had been in me for a while. But during COVID, since I couldn't go into the classroom, and a friend of mine challenged me, he said, Keith, you've been talking about this book ever since I met you. Brother, you need to stop talking about it and be about it. So that was kind of that nudge. And then I just got up in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. I would write. Sometimes I would stop writing at 5 o'clock. And some days, Adam, I looked up, it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we took advantage of our sheltering in place. I was doing something with it this morning. It's probably hard to see with the way my lighting is on my computer. It's a little tough to see.
I think my line's a little better. There you go.
Yeah, your lighting's a little better. Brother, I just put it together, man. It's a labor of love. It's intimidating. It's scary. I'm very authenticity is in there. My life is in there. There's the public Keith, but now people can understand when they read the text how the private Keith leads to the public Keith. So I hope everybody enjoys it. But we got it done and we're having fun. I'm having fun.
Well, you certainly did. I mean, you did deal with some real personal issues there. You built the foundation, the 5 pillars. I think that's what it's okay to call it that. Those 5 pillars were building the foundation. And then you dealt with some really personal stuff after that and addressed all that.
Yes, I did.
I think that's to be commended, and that's challenging to do that. But let's talk a bit about your time as serving on the Panama Buena Vista Union School District Board.
Yeah.
Sharing a bit about that with us?
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, it's interesting how that all came about. A friend of mine, I was at a gas station one day and he says, Keith, where do you live? We went through all of that process. He said, have you ever thought about being a school board member? said, absolutely not. First of all, I said, what is it? I said, what is it? And I said, oh no, man, absolutely not. And just so happened, a couple of nights later, I was watching the city council meeting and I was ranting at the TV. These guys don't know what they're talking about. These yahoos. I was going on and on. And my wife said, well, you talk a lot. Why don't you do something about it? Well, I'm one that's always up for a challenge. And it just so happened the guy I said I wasn't interested, he was persistent. He was extremely persistent. So I applied. I didn't think I was going to get out the first round. Man, next thing I know, I gave my presentation. I got out of the first round, came back, got out of the second round. And then that evening, August 27th or 28th of 2009, I became the first African American ever to be sat on the Panama Buena Vista Union School District.
And a challenge is now a 10-year commitment, plus 10-year plus commitment.
Yeah, it's a 10-year commitment. I have, 2 meetings a month plus other subcommittees. I've been blessed to sit on a delegate for CSBA, California School Board Association. There, I've been blessed and fortunate to serve on the legislative committee, help directing some of the laws that you all face as our children and parents face here in the state of California from an educational standpoint. So it has been rewarding. It's had its challenges. It's had its issues, especially now this reopening plan with COVID. That's been a challenge. Working with you, getting the taxpayer to trust us so that they would tax themselves to increase our bonding capacity and things of that nature. But it's been rewarding. If I could do it over again, I would. It's been fantastic.
So with that taxpayer trust, you as a board member have been involved in 2 GEO bond measures.
Yes.
One was more of a traditional GEO bond measure where you issue 25 to 30-year bonds every few years. And that one really was on the heels of one that the district did a very long time ago, where they waited about 25 years from doing the prior GEO bond before asking the voters for another one. And then the demands of facilities continued and got one GEO bond passed, and then came back and asked for another one, but said, hey, since we are doing it sooner, we're going to do a more unique structure where we do only issue 10-year bonds. You don't issue traditional ones. And you were key in both those GEO bond measures under structure and helping communicate that. Would you mind sharing a bit about what that process was like?
Sure. The first thing and the primary role of a school board trustee is to hire a superintendent and to have a fiduciary responsibility over the taxpayer money. So our role as trustees is to be the cheerleader, but also be the fiscal representative of the taxpayers. And look, we want to make sure that if you all decide to assess a tax on your homes, that those funds will be used prudently. They will match the projects. There will be no outstanding money spent on frivolous things. So we were very, very cautious. I believe, Adam, you may have came before our board, and I was the stickler guy, me and another trustee that would ask those detailed questions because we wanted to make sure that, I'm blessed that our community trusts us, and we don't want to do anything to diminish that trust. So as part of a trustee, my job was to ask all the tough questions, make sure I have a working knowledge. You're the expert, but I have to make sure if someone stops me in Albertsons or Winco or CVS, I'm able to explain it to them in layman's terms. So that was our role and responsibility as trustees, to whittle it down so Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Stevens will be able to say, okay, they're asking me for a cup of coffee a year on my tax, and that's the way I explained it. We're looking at, I forgot what the number was, Adam, but I broke it down to it's a cup of coffee a month. What would your tax bill increase on your home? So that was my job to convey it. Again, should I'm stopped at the gas station, Arco, or just walking around my neighborhood?
Well, I think that investment you took, and just for the audience to know, there was a real interest in it before they put the measure on the ballot to understand it very clearly. For the first GEO bond that they had done in that 25-year period, I believe I did 16 presentations to the board
That's right.
about what this measure might look like should they choose to ask voters for their vote. So
Right.
for us, it was really rewarding to be able to kind of dive into it and talk it through. But I do think you got to the point where you had a very clear understanding in those conversations at Winco, probably a lot easier than some other. One thing that I should probably say is since COVID-19 has hit, one of the things I miss the most is out there talking with clients, solving problems. You know, we're solving problems now. We're doing it on Zoom, doing a phone call. But that really goes to what you're dealing with these days. It's probably easier to explain that cup of coffee on a GeoBond measure than it is school reopening at the grocery store,
Oh,
right?
oh, oh my God. You know, this has been the toughest year for me as a trustee. And it's not, it's because there's so many competing factors. And we're in as a district, we're trying to alleviate as much fear as we can with not only our families, our students, our teachers, the community. We've put out videos, PSAs. We've done all that we can do uh, to try to alleviate the fear that people have. Not fully eliminate, but alleviate what we can. Because right now, there's nothing more important, in my opinion, than children continue their education. Right now, it is tough, and I cannot. We've stumbled out the gate at Panama with our distance learning, but we've improved. We've learned a lot of lessons that we're going to take going forward. But having these hard conversations, because I can have one conversation with somebody in the checkout line and they love it. Then you go, if you forget something, got to go get some oranges. You come back, next person you have a conversation with, I'm the worst guy on the planet. So you never know. I've literally have read emails. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Following email I get, Wolaridge, you're sending me to my death. So this is one I can't win. All I can do is try, not fully eliminate, but try to alleviate some of the stress and fear that our community is having during this crisis, this pandemic.
And this is one of those things that is tough for all districts.
All districts.
A lot of times before my agenda item, even on Zooms here, it is set up so that you hear the reopening plan or the hybrid plan, whatever that district is calling it. And then the public comment that it comes after that is there is no person that says you are kind of doing okay. There is you're doing it perfect or you're doing it awful. There's like no middle ground on this issue. Is that
There
what
is
you're finding?
no middle ground.
That's right.
Zero. Again, we literally Tuesday night I was in a meeting, and as we were approving our reopening plan, I happened to text went off in my phone, and because we're streaming it live, and I got blasted. But then you say, all right, you just keep going. 10 minutes later, got another text. I think we're gonna be all right. What do you do? You just
That's
what do
right.
you do? What do you do? What do you do?
Well, Keith, what in normal times, what seemed like a stressful issue, bonds. Let's get back to that for a moment. Is after the district passed its first GeoBond measure, you were involved in helping it with its credit rating and being involved in that process. Would
That's right.
you
That's
share a little bit
right.
about that with us?
Now that was an experience, my friend. Again, I have a commercial banking background where I would lend finances, from 5,000 to a half a million to small and medium sized business. But I never dealt with the bond rating agencies, the Moody's, the Standard and Poor's, and I was a little intimidated because they asked me some questions about my community. They asked some questions about the stability of the board, the mindset of the board, the mindset of our CFO, our superintendent. They were asking stability questions. I was afraid if I say the wrong thing, I can go from an A rating to a D rating literally in one sentence, you
No.
know? And I was like, Key, what are you? I was all, I was, for the first time in a long time, I was nervous to make a presentation. Because I said, man, the district's rating, my interest expense, how much of what I say will have a bearing on how much the taxpayer pays in interest based on this conversation. But again, it was a rewarding experience to have a conversation with the radio. It wasn't a gotcha. Yeah, they just wanted to know, did you have a pulse on your community? Were you a community person? uh, how your working relationship because with the superintendent and the rest of the staff, because they were really looking for consistency and stability outside of the numbers. They were also looking for other issues, and I believe we got a favorable rating that saved the taxpayers billions of dollars in interest expense.
Oh, you certainly did, and you and the rest of the team did a great job preparing. I think taking that time to be able to tell a story and having doing it a little bit in advance, because as you said, you are not involved in this on an everyday basis, but that prep had really paid off. So now, as you look forward and you are more that veteran member on the board, anything you'd want to say to our audience about what it's been like serving your community in that way?
It's been wonderful. Now I know what I don't know, which is interesting. Okay. Last to speak now. Um, and again, I've served with some wonderful, wonderful community members. I was trained by three women initially my first couple of years. They were just unbelievable. And one in particular, I still call her when I'm stuck on an issue, and she's just so gracious. Our board is we all are five diverse people from five various backgrounds. We bring different talents and strengths, and I think it does the board well when you have that diversity to do what's best for the students that we serve. Now we're going to be a different district after COVID, or I would say during COVID, and as trustees, we got to wrap our mind around it, provide the resources for our staffing, both classified and certificated, so that they have the tools available so that they can be successful as we're on 19,000 students now in our district. So I'm looking forward to the challenge. It's not going to be easy. It is different, but that's why we read a lot. We try to glean from districts from all over the state of California. Sometimes we even leave our state and see what some best practices are in other parts of the nation to ensure our students are getting the best education that we can provide.
And Panama Buena Vista Union School District is an interesting situation, and it's unique. That is, you are a district that continues to grow. Whereas
Yes.
most districts throughout the state of California have had declining enrollment. Everything from some families leaving to birth rates being lower than they have been historically. And so you find yourself dealing with some different challenges, certainly positive things as well, but different challenges in a lot of your peers districts out there.
Yes, we are blessed with, I think, our 25th school, Highgate, will be on board fall of 2021. We're also looking at a virtual academy now where certain families that may not decide to come back to traditional education as we know it. And I'm okay with that because if I'm going to be an advocate of public education, whether a child gets it in my classrooms, if he gets it at a charter, if they get it at a private, if they get it online, as long as I'm providing a forum for them to get the best education that meets their needs. And we're finding out now, parents, students, because of the way the world has changed, it's about meet me where I am. Instead of the school district telling them, you come meet us where we are, we're now having to say, we need to meet you where you are. In a 5 to 10 mile radius, and you've seen our district, Adam, I can go from $1 million home, $10 million home to poverty in 10-minute drive. So we have those challenges that we face as well in Panama. We are pleased with the growth. Growth has brought about some changes in different demographic, but again, it's up to us as as educators, I should say, to meet the public where they are instead of them coming up to us. So, but I'm looking forward to it, man. I got a couple more years in this term, and we're gonna run and see what the end's gonna be, my friend.
Well, I know you're an entrepreneur at heart, but it sounds like that attitude is what you brought to the board as well. And the board sounds like they are doing that as well.
Well, we're a new board now. We've had an election. We'll have two new board members. So literally, we start from scratch, building a team, December 15th. And when I consult other school boards, I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to have that opportunity. Every year, every time you get a new school board member, you have a new board, you have a new dynamic, and you have to build that trust with the 5 or 7 of you. Again, we just hired our new superintendent, Katie Russell. She comes from Fresno, so we will be having a team building exercise here right after we install our new members and we hit the ground running.
So Keith, we've already mentioned you have 4 daughters, and I know they're a very big part of your life. For a period of time, you even had your voicemail recorded by one of them. She was
Still is, by the way. Still is.
She was very persuasive.
Yes.
But so what I'm trying to understand, and maybe it's because your kids, I think, are a little older than mine, is you went from writing from 5:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. I am struggling now. When I get up at 5:30, they let me work. But once they're up, I'm not getting uninterrupted time. Tell us a little about your family and how you've managed that situation, because we all have something to learn there.
Well, it's interesting you said that. My girls are no longer babies. My eldest, the voice that you hear on my voicemail, she has now graduated with her degree in cinematic arts from Cal State University, Monterey Bay. The second one is a junior at Sac State. The third one, she's attending Fresno Pacific. And the youngest is a senior in high school. So they're teenagers, Adam. So they're asleep when I was trying to work. These were college girls that had come home, so they were asleep, and when dad is up at 4:30 in the morning, or they were doing their homework at 10 a.m. or at 2, they're out of the house going to go see friends, so I'm a little fortunate. I have young adults in my home.
Okay, so we know why you stopped at 2 now. So that's when they're waking up. They got
hungry. They got hungry, or they smelled Popeye's chicken or McDonald's. Daddy went and got lunch, so they smelled that and said, it's time to get up. So that's how I was able to get my work done.
Great. Well, Keith, I really appreciate the time you've always taken me through over the years. I feel like we've developed that both a friendship and a professional relationship. And when I saw on LinkedIn that you had written a book, I thought 2 things. One is we need to talk on this public finance conversation. And 2, I need to get that book. And so thank you for writing that. Thank you for everything you've done for me over the years, and just really appreciate all that you've done.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I hope those people who are listening to this will share the video. If those people decide to purchase the book, 5 Pillars, I think you will find value in it that will bring you and move you forward for years to come.
Great. Well, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Adam.